Yo, what's good guys, it's Johto Giraffe. Hopefully everyone's doing well, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. As the title suggests, we'll be doing a tier list of the top 100 entries for the Pokemon Illustration Contest 2022. So I initially tried to do the top 300, but that took way too long to edit, so I just scrapped that, and we are here now with the top 100. And honestly, there were so many good entries. I actually had an entry myself, which I'll put on the screen somewhere, and I definitely gotta say I was very humbled because I kind of went into the contest very lightly. Man, there's some very talented people out there, and that kind of gave me, I guess, motivation to kind of start art up again, because I guess like the last time I actually took an art class was like GT art in like 8th grade. I've been drawing here and there just very casually, very casually. I guess seeing the illustration contest and everything kind of re-inspired me to pick up drawing and art again, so maybe some live streams in the future of me doing art and stuff. But anyways, enough rambling, let's get into the tier list. So as you see here, we have a tier list made by yours truly, and I just compiled all 100 entries. So out of the top 100, there are 10 Arcanine, 12 Cramorant, 14 Galarian Rapidash, 16 Greninja, 12 Scizor, 9 Pikachu, 18 Bulbasaur, and last but not least, the king of stonks, we have 9 Charizard entries. So that all totals to 100. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the original 300, but then please go ahead. I'll leave all links in the description below. I honestly don't know how the judges are going to make a decision, because all of these artworks, especially the top 100, is so good. So for this tier list, instead of having like a D and an F row, I just figured it would be S, A, B, and then mid is kind of just like whatever. I really don't want to disrespect any of the artists, because these illustrations are so good and they're just far beyond what I could have ever made. Also, I'll be referring to the images from the actual website, as you can see right here. So the top 100, which is round 2, and if you guys want to see all the results, I'll put the link of this in the description as well. We have all the illustrations right here with the artists' names underneath. So I'll be ping-ponging back between my two screens to kind of give you, or just so I have a better look at the I guess the illustrations themselves. Before we get into the tier list, I just want to preface that this is just my opinion. Art is very subjective. People may have different opinions on different things, so this is just my perspective of what I think is good art, and you might have different ones as well. So if you guys do have different opinions, please tag me in your own tier list. You guys can use this tier list yourself and then tag me on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, or you can even leave a comment below of like you thought this one deserved this tier or not. But anyways, let's start off with the first one. We have April Borchelt. I'm gonna butcher these names, so just bear with me. But we have Arcanine just watching the sunset. It's very soft. I like the clouds. It kind of seems like maybe watercolor or even like oil pastel ish. I like the colors, but then I don't know, maybe it's an A tier. I think for this I'm gonna bump it up into the A tier, because I like the little textures that you see in the clouds, even the fur, so that's a very nice touch. Next we have Rend with a Arcanine yawning and a picky pack on its back, and it's kind of like maybe like morning time. You know, we have the sun rays peeping through the trees and stuff. This one is very nice. I like how the foreground we see the blurred out grass, and we also see the trees in the background like the bokeh. This is actually really nice. This kind of looks like a picture because like the focus and everything. I think this one kind of deserves to be in the A tier. I think the previous Arcanine we can bump it down to would be just seeing this one. Next we have Ross Draws, maybe Bob Ross's son, maybe, but then we have an Arcanine sleeping with a little Oddish. That's so cute. Unfortunately, there is no Growlithe, but then we do have an Oddish right there. I don't know if that's the moonlight. It kind of looks like the sunlight in a way, like the top middle right there. Love the lens flare aspect of that. That's really cool. Love the flowers around it as well. Man, this one's kind of hard. I feel like any of the artwork with a Pokemon inside of it gives it like that special edge to it, so I might bump this up to A tier. I was thinking about B, but then I think because Oddish is there, I'm gonna bump it up to an A. Next we have Steven Ski Nazoff. I am so sorry for butchering your name, but we have the Arcanine in like the middle of a field or a forest, and it's nighttime obviously by the moon. The fire coming from his mouth is very interesting, to say the least. I mean, it's a cool effect. For this one, it seems very like ominous, very like abstract in a way. There's no like hard lines, everything kind of flows together. Man, I feel like it's so disrespectful to like put something in mid, but that is just like, it's neither bad or good. It's just like I have no real opinion on it, so I think for this one we will put it in the mid tier. Next we have 2 Arcanines just playing in the field. That is, yes, those are both Arcanines, and I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Arcanine kind of gives off like Clifford the Big Red Dog vibes, maybe. This art style kind of reminds me of Ochakeke, I think that's how you say it. But his style is, I think it's similar. Colors seem to be very neutral in a way, if that makes sense. There's no like bold colors, everything's kind of muted. This artwork kind of gives off the vibe of like the Hisui region kind of, so yeah, it's not bad. I think for this one I'll put it in the B tier. Next we have Kinchi with a Arcanine just hiding in the trees because of the rain. Water is super effective against fire. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting take on Arcanine, because usually I think of Arcanine kind of like roaming through the grass, kind of like running around and stuff, but this one's kind of like huddled up under the trees. So this one's a very interesting take. I think this one go in the B tier as well. Next we have Hitotoki, I think. And we have Arcanine just howling in the morning. I wish the sun rays would kind of like, you know, bleed through his fur a little bit. I think that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, this one's kind of B tier, I think. And we have Maki with this one. Oh man, this one definitely gives off like old school, like Japanese art, like historic Asian paintings kind of sort of in a way. I think the fall leaves, you know, like the red, orange in the background really complements Arcanine overall. It all kind of flows together, if that makes sense. Like the river, the trees, Arcanine moving, very dynamic. So I think this one probably, I'm gonna put this in the A tier for now. Let's move on to Mina Minami Take or Take. But we have Officer Jenny, and the little Arcanine just keeping watch out in front of the police station. This one's so adorable. This kind of just gives me like a cartoon vibe. I don't know, just like something from like an anime. Very stylized. I actually like it. It's very simple. I like how you see Officer Jenny in the background as well. As simple as Arcanine is just sitting there, I think this one definitely deserves to be in the A tier because of the whole background, the police station and everything. So that's a very nice touch. Even like the little motorcycle in the background, so that's kind of cool. Next we have Shinosuke Yajima. Hopefully I said that right. Okay, so I saw this one. Like, it's cool how you see all the detail and like the fur, the mane, like all the fur on Arcanine itself. But I don't know if it's just me, but the first thing that it kind of goes to, or my mind goes to, is like a mop. Just me? Or like those really fuzzy pillows with like all those hairs sticking out. I don't know, it kind of doesn't sit well with me. I think this one is gonna be mid. I'm not a fan of it. That's honestly the reason why. So I think with that, we're done with the Arcanines. I do actually want to put at least one of each Pokemon in like the S tier. So I think for this one, I definitely want to put this one, the Arcanine with the Pikipek on the back, because like the whole focus, the bokeh in the background, the foreground, everything, the light, very good. Let's move on to Cramorant. So this first one by Austin Petite. This one definitely gives off Uyama vibes with like the bold black outlines around the Pokemon. We have multiple Cramorants. I like the one in the middle with like just like the dot for the eye. We have a Arrokuda, and a few love discs in there. Because it looks so familiar to Uyama, I kind of want to put it in the S tier, but I think for now we'll put it in the A tier, and that might change. Next we have Christopher Johnson with a Cramorant just surfing the waves, you know, living life. I didn't even notice, but there's like a guy like trapped in the waves as well. I love the colors on the waves, like the blue, red, and even like the yellow hits right there. Obviously the white from like the water crashing and everything. The sunset, pink in the background. Love the colors on this. Very pastel, very colorful. Yeah, I mean, this one, I think definitely deserves to be in the A tier, so we'll put it right there. Next we have Hyun Chung, probably a Korean artist, but we have Cramorant just by the pond or a lake, just catching a few Arrokuda, or it doesn't really show you, but I'm gonna assume it's an Arrokuda. This one I'll put in the B tier. Not too exciting because I feel like a lot of these are gonna have Cramorant fishing. Next we have Julie Hang, and this one definitely has like a abstract vibe to it. It's not like your traditional portrayal of Cramorant. It kind of is very like off the beaten path kind of thing. Oh, we have a Arrokuda kind of just like jumped out the water. I actually like this. I wish there would be a little bit more going on in the background, like the sun or something, like maybe clouds. But then overall, love the coloring of like the gradients between like the feathers, even like the sand that it's on. So yeah, this one probably in the A tier as well. Next we have Liko with a Cramorant just chilling, just probably sleeping under some trees. It's probably fall time because there's a bunch of leaves in the water. And yeah, this one very simple, nothing crazy is going on, so this one probably be the B tier. Next we have Onomio with another Cramorant just on a log. Looks like a swamp or like a marsh in a way, because there's not much water, or doesn't seem like there's much water. But this one, I don't know, there's not really much going on. He's definitely vibing. Maybe he just had a meal, but then yeah, not really much going on, so this one will go in the B tier as well. We have Tetsu Kurosawa, and man, this is like a feast for these Cramorants right here. I like how the one in the middle was focused, and we see the other ones kind of going crazy over this feast of Arrokuda and stuff. Yeah, I like how how there's multiple in the background compared to just like one. So yeah, I think that's a very nice touch, and I love the background, the trees and everything to kind of really give you a setting of where this is taking place, and the angle of this is kind of crazy too. But this one I'll probably put in the A tier. Ooh, Shinomen with this one, Arrokuda, or no, not Arrokuda, Cramorant, you know, dipping his head in the water, all the Arrokuda swimming away. It shows you the top half above the water and the bottom half below the water, so I think that's a pretty cool touch. So this might go in the A tier as well. We have Hattie_san, and we have Cramorant having its meal, a Lotad freaked out in the background. The other Lotads are doing the right thing of staying camouflaged. This one unfortunately saw a murder. I don't know, I feel like the whole aspect of like Pokemon eating each other in like the Pokemon world is kind of very bizarre. This one I'll put in the A tier. I think it's A tier, yep. And this one we have Maki Hanane, and this one has a Cramorant fully submerged in the water and all the Arrokuda are floating away. Oh, I actually really like the whole like water design up top. And even like the light peering through, and like even like the smaller bubbles in the background, that's a very intricate touch. So this one might be the S tier. Maybe. Okay, let's put that there for now. This one we have Naoko Eguchi. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But then this one, fortunately no Arrokudas in this one, but this one kind of gives me like a similar vibe to Shinomen's. I think this deserves to be in the A tier. Actually, let's put, I don't know, this is so tough. Man, it's so tough. Let's just put this in the A tier for now. But next we have Harishu Minari with a Cramorant. I think this is looking down the manhole. This low-key reminds me of like Finding Nemo, like the seagulls and stuff. I don't know why, it just does. This one seems pretty plain Jane. Very different take from the other ones. Like it's nowhere near water. This one, probably the B tier. I think for Cramorant, I'm gonna have to put 2 in the S tier because, yeah, I think these two are probably the best ones in my opinion. Next, we're moving on to Galarian Rapidash, and I do think I need to pick this up a little bit. So we have Brenna Johnson with a My Little Pony Galarian Rapidash right here. This one, low-key, this looks like it's just like stamped into this background. Like I feel like they kind of drew the background separately and kind of just like pasted this Galarian Rapidash in. I don't know, I feel like because of that aspect, it kind of takes away from it. It doesn't really fit in with the background, I would say. Or maybe she did that on purpose so that Rapidash kind of stands out. I'm gonna put this in the B tier for now. Next we have Grace Craft with a ton of green, hints of pink, and yeah, this is definitely in the Glimwood Tangle. This kind of looks like something you see from like a coloring book. It seems very iridescent, like a lot of glowing things, like the hair, the mushrooms and everything, even like the little sun in the background. I don't know, this one is B tier for me. Next we have Keigo Kawaii with a Rapidash and a Ponyta in the same frame. I like the flowers in the background. It kind of complements the hair on the Rapidash and Ponyta. Like this one kind of fits, you know, whereas the first one, it kind of seemed like it was just like stamped in there. So this one, I think I'll put this one in the A tier. Next we have LR, Jim, LR. But we have a Galarian Rapidash in like this meadow. We have a little Morlul, right? That's what it's called, right? Morlul. I'm glad I caught that because that's such a cute touch. Yeah, I really like this one. I like the sunlight kind of shining through, even like this little like circle effects around it. Probably deserves to be in the A tier. We have the little flower petals as well. Next we have NGO, but I love that sunset. That's like the first thing that caught my eye. The sunset with like the rays kind of shining off of it, the foreground with the trees, the background and everything. This art style reminds me of that one artist that does like the dots. I'll put a picture on the screen, but then that's kind of what it reminds me of with like this art style. I like this one a lot. The separation of the colors on the mane is very distinct, which is something that I like. Even like the whole lake, the trees in the background, everything about this. So this is definitely going to be an A tier for me. We have Shu 54, hopefully I'm saying that right, XOUS 54, and this one, I love the perspective that this is taken from, like kind of like the bottom looking up. I love this giant orange cloud behind it. Kind of gives a very good contrast with like the forest and Rapidash herself, her. Just the light hitting off the Pokemon itself is a very nice touch. This one might be a S tier because I just love how all the lighting, colors, just everything, the shadows and everything fit very well. We have Togake Kato, and oh man, this one is so nice. I feel like anyone who does water really well, like the water effects in like a illustration, definitely gets like the extra stamp of approval. But yeah, like the ripples and how like that ripple kind of affects like the reflection and everything. This one's really good. S tier probably. We have another one, Harayama, and this one's very nice as well. Like the sun rays coming through the trees, the shadows and everything. Man, these artists are so talented. This one I'll put in the A tier. Next we have Yukio with this Rapidash, and it's very stylized. I feel like it's just like gliding on the water, as you see by the little footstep ripples right there. Also the little lilies and the flowers around it. Oh man, seeing the other ones, I feel like this one has to be in the B tier because the other ones kind of like went above and beyond. But yeah, the other ones did so much more with like the colors and stuff. Next we have Kizunue with Rapidash and the Ponyta just looking up at the stars. Foreground little flower right there and the trees behind it. I feel like for this one it's very simple. No crazy colors going on, just a slight gradient in the sky and everything. This one probably in the B tier. We have Natsuko with a... This looks really trippy. I guess it's kind of like through some trees or whatever, but we have a Rapidash looking at its reflection. This one kind of seems to blend together. I don't know, that's just what I'm thinking, but this one would probably be in the B tier. We have Nomichi with a... low-key looks like the middle between a Ponyta and a Rapidash, just me. Yeah, long, luscious hair. This one, I like the colors, just like the random like hits of like green and blue in the background with like the mushrooms and everything. This one, I would say probably B tier, I think. We have Hatsuse Chisato, and we have this one just chilling in like a bed of flowers. We have the sun rays peeping through. This one, this one B tier, I think. Mea Sumusu. This looks like a album cover or like a panel from like a manga, like a colored in manga. It's just so like the dark colors, like the dark contrast between the shadows, the trees, and like that single light just shining through. Low-key, I wish that petal was like a Pokemon, like a cutie fly or something. That would have been a nice touch. Just because the stylization of it, I think this one deserves to be in the S tier. But let's move on to Greninja, and we have 184 with the whole family. We got Froakie, Frogadier, and Greninja all just training, hanging out. Love the effects on the water and like how they use like the shadows and everything. Love this a lot actually. I think this might be, let's put this in the A tier for now. Next we have Hoshi with a Greninja in like this like wasteland of some sorts with like all these water shurikens. I don't know if he was training or he just like wanted to fight or something, but then this one definitely gives me like Dragon Ball Z vibes for some reason. This one probably in the A tier as well. We have Aldo Comte, and I love, as I said, anyone who can do water effects very well, up tier. So I like how you see like the individual like strands of rain or the waterfall coming down on the Greninja. Although I wish it was a little bit more saturated, but I think this is a very nice touch. Probably like an overcast day or something. Let's put this one in the A tier as well. I feel like Greninja is going to be a little bit biased. We have Jigen with Greninja just hanging on the rock, probably sensing something in the water. I don't know what he's doing. I like the colors, like the vibrant green, like the water is very blue and Greninja is very saturated. So this one, because it's not really doing much, I'll put it in the B tier for now. I feel like Greninja would just automatically default to A, but kind of would give it some variance. We have L_Asale. I'm butchering this, but this just reminds me of Demon Slayer, of that one Hashira, the sound Hashira, who like climbing on top of the buildings and stuff. That's just what it kind of reminds me of. It would have been cool to see like other Greninjas on top of the other, I guess, rooftops as well, kind of like all ganged up. This one probably, I'm gonna say B tier. It's just looking down, not really doing much. Melissa Pierce, man, this is a crazy, I guess, interpretation of Greninja. Really curious to know what she used. This looks like something you can make out of paper or something, but this one, I mean, the effort that went into this, very abstract as well. I'm gonna say A tier. A tier. It's not really doing much, it's just hanging out meditating. So if it was doing some action, I'll probably put it in the S tier, but for now, let's put it in the A. And next we have Taiga Kasai. And we have a Greninja. I like how the Froakies or the Frogadiers and the Froakie in the background are kind of like muted, whereas the Greninja kind of stands out. So I like that kind of contrast because overall the whole background and everything is very muted, is very like, you know, grayscale and everything. But it just seems too simple. Like the other ones just have a little bit more detail. So I'm gonna put this one in the B tier. Next we have Kadoka, and this one we have a... First thing I saw was a Rowlet, but we have a Greninja. Where is this? Like the marsh? I feel like the... Actually, I mean, makes sense. Frogs can be in the marsh as well. I feel like this Greninja is kind of out of place, but very interesting design. Seems very dark and ominous in a way, kind of like some haunted woods, kind of, sort of. This one, I'm not really feeling. I mean, I love the Rowlets right here, but overall, just don't really understand the whole story behind this one, so I'm gonna put this in the B tier. We have Koba Yamato with another Greninja chilling under the waterfall, or meditating, or training, I guess. This one is very stylized, very blocky colors. There's no like gradients between the colors. It's just very solid colors that kind of distinguish like the textures and the rocks and everything. This one, I would say B tier. For sure, definitely a B tier. We have Gomashiwo with a Greninja with the water shuriken. As I mentioned, any movement or like water design in like a Pokemon card is just top tier. And if you can do it well, that's very nice. So this one, Like the tongue is moving, his hands moving. He's about to throw the shuriken. Probably goes in the A tier. Yeah, definitely A tier. We have Shin training with the shurikens. Just reminds me of like Naruto or like Sasuke. This one, I wish there was more targets that we could see compared to like the two that we see right now. But I like the background and everything. Also the water effects and everything. So this one, definitely A tier. We have Spare Ribs, and this one, oh gosh, this one is sick. Like, we've seen two previous waterfall Greninjas, but then this one, like the water that's like splashing off his head. We have him forming a shuriken in his hand. The other one is like, you know, being held up to meditate. You know, this water droplet in the foreground. Man, this one definitely deserves to be in the S tier for sure. Ooh, we have our first claymation, and we have Clay Yoshirin. We have Mori get a run for her money. But man, this is really nice. Obviously, it's just a claymation model placed in real life, so background can't really say much because it's just real life, it's nature. I like how they probably got like a spray bottle and just like sprayed the model itself. Honestly, this is top tier. Gotta put this up in the S tier because I don't know, it's just handmade, the whole thing about it. Doggo, this one is very simple. You know, they're just hanging out. This one probably just a B tier, not much going on. Very simple. Like the design, but yeah, very simple. We have Nishiyama Hana with a Greninja just chilling in the rain, probably under some like trees or something. Personally, there isn't really much going on for me, so let's just put this in the B tier. And onto our final Greninja, we have a Yamaguchi Biru, and this one features a Greninja, Brokey, Cutiefly, and a Ludicolo, just all hanging out, chilling in the pond. I low-key wish it was like hot springs or something. That would have been kind of funny, but this one, there's 3 other Pokemon, and obviously the forefront is the Greninja, so I think I might have to put this one in the S tier. So we're halfway through the 8 Pokemon. Next we're getting into Scizor, starting with Hashi96, and we have a Scizor flying in the night sky. It kind of feels weird. Like, I feel like he's just like gliding. He's not really flying in a way. This one probably deserves to be in the B tier for now. Next we have Jan Apple with a Scizor cutting a citrus berry, I think, in half. I like the contrast, like the red Scizor but like the green trees in the background. This one, let's put this one in the A tier because it's a very nice depiction of Scizor itself. We have Katkichi with a Scizor. Hopefully it's not damaged. Hopefully it's just relaxing. He seems to be relaxing, hopefully. Maybe it's just a hot day, he just wants to cool down. I think this one deserves to be in the A tier, I think. Next we have Nidashi or Nishi. This is kind of weird because I saw this, I'm like, who is he fighting? Or like, is he anticipating someone? I like the little particle effects on like the armor of Scizor because he is a metal type. It kind of looks like he has like pimples on his body or something, but yeah. Actually, no, let's put the water one in the B tier and this one, I think this one in the B tier as well. Just kind of confused with like what it's doing, if that makes sense. But we have Pokemari with Scizor probably like on a beach somewhere, some tropical island. I like how the Scizor itself divides blue and like the orange. I think that's a very nice touch, using Scizor to kind of like contrast the colors and everything from like the beach to like the water. This one, I actually really like the colors of it, so this one would definitely be in the A tier. We have Q-chan. Oh my gosh, the first thing I saw with these little Caterpies, I don't know about you guys, but like the little mouth part, it looks like they're smiling on it. That's so cute. Maybe like the Scizor is protecting them from something. I've never seen Scizor have glowing red hands or even like his body, but I like the movement that you see from like the wings and everything. So yeah, very dynamic shot. This one probably A tier for sure, definitely A tier. We have Ren with basically a Scizor taken straight from Pokken. Like, do you guys see the reflections that you see on the body? Oh, on that left claw you definitely see who it's fighting, and it's the Steelix. So that's a very cool touch, very nice. Yeah, honestly, like the whole like rendering of Scizor, it just looks like straight out from like Pokken or something. Very dynamic. There's a lot going on. You know he's about to like throw hands. This might be an S tier for sure. All right, we have Kanokamo with a Scizor fighting a Charizard. Oh, that right hand, you see the Charizard reflection right there, and that's such a cool shot. Like the whole like movement, like the little air around its fist and everything. That's such a cool shot. His like left hand holding the tail of the Charizard. It's straddling the fence between S and A, but I think for now let's put it in the A tier for now. We have a Savoteri. Scizor working in the construction field. We see a little Machoke in the background and the guy shoveling. I feel like Scizor doesn't really fit in the construction setting more as like a Machoke does. I don't know. This one might be a B tier. We have Nagi with a Scizor just, I guess, coming straight out of the Pokeball. Very interesting. I like the clouds and like the gradient in the sky and everything. Don't really know what's going on with the foot. Very interesting perspective. This one I'm gonna put in the B tier. We have Mato with this very stylized Scizor. The left hand is definitely beaten up. Is that a Heracross and a Pinsir in the background? I see the little shadow right there. Kind of random, don't really know what's going on. This will probably go in the B tier. Maki Hitsuji with a Scizor flying, getting some berries and a little Shuckle. I wonder if he's getting the berries for the Shuckle. That would be so cute if it was. Like the light rays shining down, the little shadows that it's casting. This one is gonna be A tier. And now we're moving on to the mascot of Pokemon, Pikachu. We have Akuru with a little Pikachu holding a little leaf umbrella, the little rainbow as you see in the puddle. Actually, this one's really cute. Put in the A tier. Next, we have Expensive with a Pikachu and a Pichu stealing some berries from a Ursaring and a Teddiursa. This Ursaring definitely looks like it's about to throw some hands, and the Teddiursa is just there vibing. I like the story behind it, so definitely put it in the A tier. And we have one by Red. Is this their second one? Dang, they are making moves with 2 submissions, getting past the initial 300. But then we have this one playing in the water. Water effects are crazy good. Let me actually see the other one he submitted, he or she. So Ren did this amazing Scizor with the rendering straight from Pokken, and he did this Arcanine right here. I feel like he might be a winner, potential winner. I'm not saying that I told you so, but if he wins, I told you so. But anyways, he's doing a great job with this. Ren, you are killing it. Definitely putting in the S tier. We have Yellow, very interesting name, with a little fuzzy Pikachu right here playing with the Oranberry. Like the whole vibe, like the coloring aspect of it. The foreground, the subject, the light rays on the side right here. Very nice touch. I think this one I'm gonna put in the A tier just because it kind of reminds me of like a teddy bear more than like a Pikachu. Oh, we have another claymation. We have Whip Sugar giving Mori another run for her money. But we have a Pikachu finding an Oranberry. This whole thing is claymation, so that is work, dedication, whole 9. So definitely putting that in the S tier. We have Mingo. Where is this? France, Europe somewhere. Elisa Frank Pikachu. Just like psychedelic rainbow colors everywhere. I like how I was looking out the window and there's like people underneath of it. There's like a Bulbasaur, I think Clefairy, no, Jigglypuff. Coloring is very interesting, but I think for my taste, I'll put this in the B tier. Next, we have Akiwashi with a Pikachu doing their mating dance. Maybe that's how they do their mating dance, but then we have a male and a female just hanging out. Not really much contrast with different colors and stuff, so this one might go in the B tier. We have Minari Hashiru with a Pikachu and a Pichu, again, you know, like the whole family, stealing a sandwich from the looks of like, you know, Europe, somewhere in Europe. For me, I just like bold outline for some reason. I mean, I understand the styling of it, but personally for my taste, not a big fan of this, so I think this might be our third entry into the mid tier. We have Lei Yamamura with 3 Pikachus. I feel like this Pikachu in the middle looks kind of odd. It might just be the perspective of how we're looking at it. We have the 3 Amigops right there. This one, probably the B tier. Nothing too exciting. And we're moving on to Bulbasaur, which is my starter of choice. So we have this one, Ala Lockhart. This one is definitely stylized. I feel like the flowers are really big. Probably like bigger than life. So something from like a Dr. Seuss book or something. This one I'm gonna say is in the B tier. We have Artsy Theo with a Bulbasaur apple picking. I feel like what you guys are going to see with the Bulbasaurs is like they're all very independent. They kind of live their own life kind of thing. So this one is harvesting his own fruits, probably for himself or the family. But this one I like. I'll put this in probably the A tier, yeah. Next, we have Champy with the Bulbasaur looking at itself in the mirror, probably getting some water, but love the ripple effects and how it affects the reflection as well. Great job. Also, the little leaves in the foreground. Let's put this in the A tier. We have Jackson with another Bulbasaur finding its own apples. You know, it's very independent Bulbasaur. It feels like just living its life, doing its own thing, running its own errands. And this one has its own basket and it's about to snatch this one up here. This one is very bold and very vibrant. I like the colors on this. Definitely in the A tier. We have Josh Floyd with a pretty angry Bulbasaur, or maybe he's like in the middle of battle, but we have him doing his Vine Whip attack. It would have been cool to have like the speed lines on like the Vine Whip itself. I think the lack of colors and the contrast kind of put it in the B tier for me. Next, we have Julie Hang with a Bulbasaur. Maybe he's doing this to shake off the apples from the tree, but I mean, it seems like he's just like swinging from the branches and stuff. That's a very cute take of Bulbasaur, like the whole gang right there. I think this one will be in the A tier. We have Yos. This looks like the card Path to the Peak, where like a Bulbasaur just chilling in the snow. Like the styling. I noticed that I don't like where Pokemon don't really have a bold border around it, but this one is very well done. It doesn't really blend into the background as much, or maybe I'm just biased because of Bulbasaur. For me, it doesn't really seem like it, and just looking at a Pokeball, I like this one a lot. I think this one is in the A tier. Oh my goodness, Io with this adorable Bulbasaur getting a little shower, I guess, with the Bellsprout, Oddish, and a little Hoppip. Oh man, this is so good. I think this one deserves to be in the S tier if I can even reach that. And let's throw this up into the S tier. There we go. Next we have Exa. Wow, this is a crazy render. This looks like a render from like Unreal Engine or something, but this looks so realistic. S tier? Just like the amount of work that went into like rendering this probably took so long. We have Tessie with a trio of Bulbasaur. Is it about to shoot a solar beam, or is it like pollinating? What's it doing? I don't know. Not really much going on though. A lot of green. Not much contrast. I would say B tier. Alright, next we have this Bulbasaur. He knows his priorities, doing his chores, doing his errands. Hochino Kuro, I think. We have a little Clefairy doll, substitute doll, his little basket hamper, the little Wooloo, Rotom, little buttons, I guess. I feel like these Bulbasaurs are on a mission to, you know, do their chores, do their errands, get the things done for the day. This one's adorable. Probably high A tier. It's straddling the line of like S and A. We have Tommy Makura with a Bulbasaur outside planting its trees. I love the little water pails. We have a Psyduck one. We have a little Magikarp right there. We have a Whalmer pail. We also have an Oddish chilling right next to him. The only thing missing is a little Squirtle pail, I guess. The one we see in like the Chansey Sao art. I love the design of like the shadows peeping through the trees and everything. This is a very nice touch. This is definitely going in the A tier for now. We have Ajiro Yuji with a Bulbasaur on some cliff. Kind of just looks like it's stretching or something, or just probably just enjoying the rain. I kind of like this. Kind of gives me like a Studio Ghibli like movie kind of vibe. This one definitely deserves to be in the A tier. We have Takashi Shiraishi. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but this one, it looks like a Claude Monet painting, like with the flowers and stuff. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I think that's what it is. But we have two Bulbasaurs just hanging on a log of some sort, or a branch over some water. This one looks very, very like professionally done. I'm gonna say S tier for this one. Nomichi has these two Bulbasaurs. They are by a cliff. I like the contrast, like the fall leaves, the little mountains in the background. The whole setting of this I think is very cool. This one is A tier. Ooh, Hatoba 009. So we have Bulbasaur, Cutiefly, Oddish, Hoppip, Cacnea. What else can we find? Is that it? But it's definitely in like a greenhouse. Actually, this is really nice. This is really, really intricate. Yeah, I like everything about it. Like the design of the leaves, like the sun rays coming through. S tier. We have Hamada Mugi or Muji with a Bulbasaur, very colorful, like just splashy color everywhere. The flowers, even on Bulbasaur itself, the trees and everything. This one's great. Definitely in the A tier for sure. We have Kazumasa Yasukuni with a Bulbasaur just taking care of his little sprout right there. So cute. Maybe this is his garden right here. It's like on the beach side, you know, by the water and everything. I feel like plants just kind of like enhance like a picture. Like even like the IKEA like displays, like having like a plant in the corner definitely adds like a special touch. I don't know if it's just me. This one's the A tier as well. Alright, so we finally reached the final Pokemon, Charizard, with the last 9 submissions. So we have Bryce Warner with this Charizard with two Charmanders. I didn't even notice the first one, like one above here. But we have 2 Charmanders just holding on for dear life. I kind of wish the background was a little bit more detailed, but overall it's such a cute concept of like the whole Charmander holding on. I kind of wish there was a Charmeleon, like the whole family. And I don't know if this is a cloud or like feathers, but if it is clouds, it should look more like clouds. But I think this one probably is a B tier just because of background. We have Jeffrey Ivan with a Charizard, very stylized. Kind of looks like something from like an anime. This just looks like the perspective you see when like you skydive. Very stylized. I kind of like it in a way. It's very like cartoony, but I mean, I think it's a very nice touch. So this one probably go in the A tier. We have Sakuma with a Charizard on top of Pride Rock, you know, repping the Mufasa pose. But yeah, Charizard rightfully in its place with the sunset in the background and everything. I like how since Charizard is backlit, he's a lot darker and you can see the light coming through his wings. So that's a very nice touch. I feel like normally people wouldn't really think of that, but that's definitely an A tier. Next we have Tessie with a Charizard blasting through this bridge with a few ducklets. It would have been cool to see like some speed lines or like some action lines coming behind it. I guess the sunset in the background is cool, but then it doesn't push me enough to put it in the S tier. But yeah. Next we have Torako with a Charizard and a little Charmander. Oh, it's so adorable. I wish the background could be a little bit more detailed than like just being a gradient gray / brown, but then I think the overall picture itself is very cute. Because there is nothing going on in the background, I'm gonna have to give it a B tier. We have Miyanose Natsumi with a Charizard in like the middle of a field, probably like sunset time. We see the clouds. This one's very stylized as well. Really like this one. This might be S tier. Definitely S tier quality. We have Rajan Rondo, is that you? Similar to Claude Monet with like the flowers and everything, but then kind of we see a Charizard. What's it holding? Is that an egg? Yes? Question mark. But it's just taking care of the egg in like the middle of a field. Like the vibe of this, very soft and cozy in a way, kind of like dreamlike. This one's a A tier, I think. And we have Suzumu Kuroi with a trio of Charizards, all just like, it seems like they're racing or something. Like the guy in the middle, he's in the lead. The one on the left is like, wait for me. And the one underneath, he's just like, I don't care. Yeah, I like this one. Very dynamic. We see like the little wind kind of around them, like the clouds kind of like being like blasted past them. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. This one is a A tier candidate for sure. And last but not least, we have Marina Chikazawa with a Charizard. Where is he? Like on top of a mountain or something where we see the stars and everything. That's really cool. I'm gonna assume that's part of a Milky Way, maybe. But yeah, the whole star design, Charizard, the shadow that the light is making on Charizard, very nice. This is definitely gonna be a A tier candidate. So we are complete, but let me do a one final run through, comb through of all these entries, and then I'll let you know what the final result is. Alright, so here is my final tier list after I kind of comb through the entries one more time to kind of like do some minor adjustments. But as I mentioned, please take this tier list with a grain of salt. This is my personal opinion. By no means do I mean any disrespect to the artists / illustrators. They put time and effort into making these and submitting them, so huge shout out to them for making such great artwork. I feel like the judges are gonna have a very hard time to bring it down to, I think it's top 25, I think. And by it being in the mid tier or the S tier doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's just my personal preference of what I like in terms of a artwork, I guess, for Pokemon art. So yeah, so starting with the S tier, we have these right here. Next, we are going into the A tier, then the B tier. I feel like the A and the B tier kind of have a similar amount. And we have the mid tier, just my personal opinion of what I thought was kind of mid. But yeah, this was really fun to, I guess, do. It's gonna be hell editing this, but if you guys do like this, please support the channel by giving this a like and also subscribing to the channel if you want more content like this. We are on the road to 1K subs, so it'll be really cool to hit that very soon. More tier list videos will be on the way if you guys like them. Thank you guys again for sticking through this entire video. I don't even know how long it's gonna be. It's gonna take so long editing, but I think it'll be okay. But hopefully you guys do enjoy this. I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.